This video is not clickbait. I'm in the process of downsizing and selling everything. Flip the camera around and then you can show who's behind the camera. Just like the good old days. Say hi to my YouTube, bro. Look who it is. Look who it is. For the past couple of years now, I've always wanted to travel and do crazy things. But then the world shut down and then I'm like, okay, what the heck do you do? You live in one of the most expensive cities in the world. You need how much money to live? So the rough average salary within Vancouver, you're looking at $70,000 to $80,000 a year, not including taxes. So to buy a house in Vancouver, the average house price is, you're looking at $1.5 million. You need $150,000 to make a year to be able to even afford a place of your own. And to get approved of a mortgage, you need $200,000. Can you make $200,000? If you want to be, but you're like, Peter, you can be an entrepreneur. You can be self-employed. You can make millions. But not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Some people just want to get a job, make that their 9 to 5, live happily ever after. But no, most people in this city are, the only way you buy a house is two things. You get mommy and daddy to help you out, or you come from a very rich family, which is kind of the same thing. Yeah, so like growing up, I never really came from money, and I really had to work for everything that I got. Oh yeah. And like even now, 10 years later, where it's like I've been doing content. Yeah. Like I was able to do pretty decent with it, and like everything that I have in my room right now, the place that I had, the car, was all through YouTube, like making videos. Comes from my hands, my digital hands. People are like, if you don't like it, then get out. But not everyone chooses where they're at to begin with, right? But we can choose where we want to go. But like I said, talking to people here, not just from my POV, but like other people's POV, is to even go out, it costs, you're looking at like $20 a meal, minimum. Groceries, you want to talk about groceries? $100 does not get you that much of groceries. You're spending at least $200 to $300, maybe even $350, $400 if you want to eat healthy. So we're looking at that front. We're also looking at the front of like thinking about your future. Can I buy a home here? A place that used to cost you only $1,000 now costs, 1-bedroom basement costs like $1,600 minimum. And it's only gonna get more expensive. It's only gonna get a little bit more crazy. And it's like, living in the city is a very dog eat dog world unless you come from money. How the hell do I survive, let alone thrive in this city? So we're out here in my hood. This is Fraser Street. I would say mostly middle to low end around this area. I grew up around here. Look at this. One pineapple, bro, $8. $8 for a pineapple. Oh, wow. Let's go. $2 for an avocado. Here, my favorite, my local pho joint. Not bad here. Like usually in Vancouver, average bowl of pho is like 20. Yeah. How do you feel?
Like with the wealth inequality and stuff.
The wealth inequality, the disparity, you'll get that in every municipality. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure there's a lot of people just like barely making it by and just living like check to check to check. Yeah. Because right now, like, to live by yourself, pay rent, have a car, have your own place, that sort of independent lifestyle, it's tough. especially if you're single. Oh my God, there's always like a running joke where it's like, oh, get a partner, you'll make Vancouver much more affordable. Like, I didn't want this to be a video where I'm just complaining about my life and not where I wanted to be. Like, one of the things I always wanted to do was be a big risk taker. Even though I live in a city where it is really expensive, grew up really poor, the affordability of this place is questionable. But I needed to do something for me that was so daredeviling, so unheard of, because once I got into my 30s, I felt like, wait, I'm playing this way too damn safe. And by the time I post this video, I should be in my next chapter. I always grew up with this scarcity mindset about making money, how I gotta chase the dollar. So then during my 14 and 15 years when I was that young, I worked 2-3 jobs just to make some money, give some to my parents, invest in myself, pay for myself through school. But there comes a point where you're like, can I ever make money to the point where what's the average cost of, if I were to live alone, what would that cost me? That is a lot of money. So it's like, how do I think about my dreams and goals and aspirations when my entire life is run by, oh my God, I just need to survive? How can I grow from that? And over the past couple of years, I kind of just played that mindset of like, man, I just got to survive, man, survive. But then I was like, if I live here for the next 10 years, what does that future of mine actually look like, right? Because there is always that mindset of wherever I live, wherever I go, if I'm miserable here, what makes me more or less miserable somewhere else? Where if I do a very crucial cross-benefit analysis, where is my growth actually going to happen? Is it all based on my external factors, or is it based on my own internal motivation of what is it that I really want to do in life? Vancouver itself is not a bad city. It's just the cost of living, and some people come here and like, oh, it's really expensive, it's time for me to get out of here. And there's a lot of people, my generation, is doing that. And maybe if I go live somewhere else, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I don't really like it here. I actually miss a lot of things about Vancouver. And once I come back to Vancouver, I will actually like it. Or maybe the opposite can happen. But there is only one way to find out. And I'm never about being a victim mindset to where, whatever it is. Because privilege is a thing. I'm not talking about right privilege. I'm talking about class privilege. You see life very differently. And yes, I might not come from the straightest spoon, a silver spoon, but it's like I have the decisions to make for whatever that I have to the best of my abilities so I can control that. Because I feel like a lot of my 20s, I went into this super hard grind hustle mode where I was working 2-3 jobs, open up a side business. I had to do the entrepreneur, then I worked corporate. And then it was constantly this hustle of just surviving. Like never once was like, wait, what is it I really want to do? And how can I thrive in that? And I think another factor of it was yes, growing up poor, you have a scarcity mindset. You grow up in the most one expensive cities where you're constantly thinking and struggling about money because you see your parents fighting and arguing about money. But never once did I just hit the brakes and be like, maybe I leave Vancouver and finally have just a little breath because I worked my ass off where I can have a breath in life and see what the world actually has to offer. Because there's always that tone. I always get that one comment. It's like,
if you don't like it here, then like get out. No one wants you here. I'm like,
that's actually pretty good advice. I will always take Vancouver with me. All of my experiences, all the ups, all the downs, all the crazy people I've met, all the horrible and all the good. It's what made me me. You know what I'm saying, fam? We gotta get her going there. But I'll always be Canadian, right? But here's to Vancouver. Here's to the city that made me. But also, that's the reason why I decided to leave.